Hi everybody, Brian here. In this video I'm going to be setting up the list explosion system. First thing we want to do is we want to get the full pack, the list explosion pack. This can be downloaded if you want from our site. We also need a program to package up our installer called Excelsior. You can search on the internet, just do a search on Google for Excelsior installer, and you'll be able to find the download and install that program. After you install it, this is what it will look like. We don't need this right now, so I won't use that. First thing we want to do is we want to extract this zip file. So I'm going to right click on it and just say extract here. And here's my folder. Alright. If I go into that folder, here's the full brand output zip file. I want to extract that folder to get the brander. So if I right click on it, say extract here, here's the folder that it extracted. If we go into there, here's our brander and our branding files that we're going to be working with. So we want to back up. First thing we want to do is, after that we've extracted the brander, is we want to run the list building explosion program to create our site files. So I want to double click on that. The installer walks you through. Yes, 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 yes to my desktop. Yes. Install. Close. Okay, after you install the program, you want to run the program. Opt-in explode, list building explosion. We're now creating the site files. So this is where we can enter our name, go next. The copywriting details, we can enter our company name or our name, generate. This is where we want to select where we want our site files saved to. So I clicked on desktop because I want them saved to the desktop in a new folder on the desktop. I'm just going to name mine my site files. You can name yours whatever you'd like. Click OK, and there you go. The program just created our site files. So click OK. The installer pops up again. Just exit that. We're left with the folder or the window for our folder for our site files that was just created. Notice my site files. Okay. So we'll just minimize that for now. So now we've created our site files. Now we want to start the brander. So if we go into the full brand output folder, we go into the brander folder. Here's the brander application. If I double click on that, it starts up. First thing you want to do is you want to go out of the brander folder. Mine didn't start like that, but normally it would start like this. This is what you would show you. Okay? Don't click on this. Don't click on open. Okay? Click on this guy here to go up a level. The opt-in explode file is the one that you want to highlight, because that's the one that you want to brand. So click open and the brander begins. Here is where we can have our name as we are branding it. Enter our name in the created by. We can enter in a short description in the remaining boxes, but at the bottom here, the reg code, this is the part that's very important. This is how we are going to create our list, as people will be required to submit their email information if they want the registration code. This is where you get to create your registration code. So we'll just make it whatever we want. Keep that handy. Don't close this. In this box here, this is where we want to enter in our Aweber hosted opt-in form or web form. So let's go do that right now. So I'm going to open up my Aweber. I'm going to create a new list. So click the link to create a new list. Create a new list. There, this one's open. My list build 101. Let's check this over again. My email works. I'm going to save my settings. I can come up to personalize it. I can enter in my company name and information. Right now I'm going to bypass that and just save. Scroll back up to the top. Your opt-in. Okay, we want to edit this. We received your information from List Build 101 group. Okay. By clicking confirm, your download will start immediately. Spelling mistake. I want to move this down. Okay. Get rid of this. And save. Okay. So that's our confirmation. By clicking the confirm, your download will start immediately. We now want to create a web form. So if we go to the web forms and create a new web form, you can use any template that you would like. This is the one I'm going to use. We want to click on the header. Activate your download by filling out the form below. Oops, spelling mistake. Activate your download by filling out the form below. Now we can make this a little bigger. I'm going to center that and save it. Now we can fix this all up, make it look a little better. You want to make this as big as possible. Okay? You can play with the colors if you want and change the colors and everything. We'll get rid of the footer like that. That's perfect. So we want to save our web form. The next step is the settings. You can name your web form if you want. We'll just leave it as the basic information. Your form name, you can name it whatever you would like. We'll just save that. Go on to the next step. Okay, now you can host your own web form on your server if you like, but in this case we're going to have Aweber to host it for us. So you want to click on the Have Aweber Host My Form, and here's your link. Okay, so if we highlight that and copy that link, then if we come back to our installer and enter that Aweber link into the bottom here, the registration URL, and we'll click Brand Software. So now if we go back to the folder that has all of the files in it, and if we were to double click on this guy, don't have a key, here's our web form we just created. So now we want to upload this to our server so everything works. So we can close that, minimize this, we can just close this. Okay, so now that web form works, we branded it, so that's good. The next thing we want to do is we want to start building our executable file. This is what Excelsior is for. So if we double click on Excelsior, we want to start a new project. You want to grab all of the files that are in the full brand output folder. If this folder is not highlighted within this box when you start, you'll have to drop down and you'll have to search for that folder. Once you do find that folder, you want all of the all of the files except for the brander folder, and we want to move those over to the right. We then want to say next. This is where we can name it whatever we would like. Brian's List Builder, and I'm going to change this to version 1.0. Okay, down here at the bottom, the shortcut properties, notice how it says opt-in explode. Well, mine's called Brian's List Builder, so we can rename these. Rename. Come to the next one, right click on it, select rename. Okay, so now both of those have been renamed. However, if you notice, when you highlight one, there's no icon, there's nothing in here. If you select the select button, you can select the icon to be used, click OK, and as you can see now, this one here has the icon with it. So we'll come to the second one. Again, there's nothing in the icon box. We'll do the exact same thing. Select the icon, click OK. So now we have both of these renamed and with their icons. So we can click next. You can skip past this one. Okay. Now to rename or to create your installation package, you want to name your installation package. So we can browse for a location, which would be to our desktop. Now we want to think of a name. Brian's List Builder. Select. And we create the file. Again, it's asking for a backup, to save a backup. Save. So now it's creating our installer package. You can test it here if you would like. Right now we're not going to. We'll just click no. Okay, and then we'll close this. And down here at the bottom, here's my installer package that I just created. Okay, you can double click on that, and as you can see, it starts installing Brian's List Builder. Let's cancel that. Yes. Okay. From this step, we want to do two things. We want to create two zip files. So I'm going to right click on my desktop, come to new, and create a new zip file. And I'm going to name that zip file opt-in explode. Very important. Do not forget to do this. Opt-in explode. And I go into my file. I want to add to it. I'm looking for my installer that I just created, which was Brian's List Builder. So now Brian's List Builder.exe is inside of my opt-in explode zip file. We'll close that. If I go back to my site files that we created earlier, here's the 3 site files that the program had created earlier. We want to add my opt-in explode zip file. Next, you also want to go back into your list building folder here. The one that you got or you extracted the brander out of, the full brand output folder. You want this file here. So if we copy it and then go back to our site file folder and paste that in there. Close this. So now what we have are the 3 site files, or the 2 folders and the index file, and then our 2 zip files. Okay, this is an important step right here. Make sure that both of these are named exactly what you see here. Okay, and remember both of these are .zip. Okay, before we go any farther, I recommend that you rename your index file. You want to rename this because if you have another index file on your server, this file will overwrite that file if you upload it. So we want to rename this. So let's call this list explode list exploder. We'll name it. Enter. So now my index file is now called list exploder. Okay, now that we have these 2 folders and our index file renamed and our 2 zip files, the one for the full unbranded version and then our opt-in explode branded version, we want to put all of this into one zip file. Okay, so I'm going to come out into some empty space and say new zip file. My list explosion files. Name it something that you're going to remember. Okay, I'm going to go back into that and I'm going to start adding all of the other files. So I want to add the CSS folder. I want to add the images. I want to add the full brand output. I want to add the list exploder and the opt-in explode. Everything except the one file that we're now creating. And click OK. So now, as you can see, the 5 files that I want are in one zip file, and that is named My List Explosion Files. Why did I do this? Well, because now I can upload just one file to the server instead of having to upload all 5 and taking all day to do that. So now I want to go to my cPanel. Okay, now I'm into my cPanel. I want to come down to File Manager. Now that I'm in my server, in the home folder, I want to go into the public HTML folder. Double click on the public HTML folder. Now I can start to upload. So I want to click the upload icon. I can now browse from that one zip file that I just created. My List Explosion Files. I'm now uploading that because I double clicked on it. While that's uploading, and I have a cup of my coffee. Cold coffee to boot. Okay, down here at the bottom right, we now see it's complete. So we can close this out. I want to refresh this window, so click reload. Now I want to come down and look for my zip file. My List Explosion Files. Okay, left click on it once to highlight it. Then up here in the top you can see the extract. Left click on that. Type the path you wish to extract. Just leave this. Because it'll extract it right into your public HTML folder. Extract. And it's completed. Reload the page. Here's my CSS folder. Here's my images folder. If we come down, you'll be able to find all of our files that we just created. Notice how I have a different index folder, or file I mean, here. Good thing that we renamed it. Anyways, we can get out of here. Now if we open up a browser window and we go to my index file, and there it is. Because we named those files what we did, if you hover over top of your download now button, notice down at the bottom right, or I'm sorry, the bottom left, how it says the location of the file. If I click the button, it works. We now know that our file is ready to be downloaded. Now, before we go any further, the last step that we want to do is our follow-up message. We want to create a new message. Your activation code for Brian's list building explosion, or whatever you named it. Okay. Brian's List Exploder is, I believe, what I had named it. You know, if you go back to your to the brander, this is where, when you had originally started the brander, you should have entered in your registration code. If we copy that, we can enter this into our follow-up email. This is the email that somebody will get. So now when somebody goes to our page and goes to download our product, or I'm sorry, when they go to run the installer for the program, they'll be asked to enter in an activation code. And if they don't have that code, once they enter in their information into your web form opt-in, this is the email that'll be sent to them. So this is your activation code. Here you can also add once you also want to add in this line here. Once you have your website ready, you can download your brandable. Hold on a second here. Brandable. That's right. Why is it saying that's wrong? Your brandable files here. Now, if you remember that when you did the upload, you uploaded the full brand output.zip file. This is where we want to enter in the URL for that, which if we go to any browser, we open it up. If you recall, it was on my server and we named it full brand output.zip. And here you go, it starts as soon as I try and get it. I don't want that right now, all I want is the URL. So I want to copy that, go back to Aweber, and paste that link in there. The last thing we want to enter in is the instructional video is here. That YouTube link is oops. Okay, and then we'll just finalize that. Okay, so we're done with that. Also, you notice I entered it into the HTML area. You could very easily have entered it into the plain text. So here's my, let's check the preview. Want to go back. Preview it. Okay. We can now preview it here if we would like. It says our activation code, our URL to get the full branded output file, and the YouTube video. So let's close that and we'll save. Okay, so now we can close this. Here is my page, if you remember, the URL, listexploder.html. So now when somebody clicks the download button, they can download the file. here's Brian's list builder. They can run it, they install it. The first time they go to run the program, they'll be asked for their key, their activation code. That will have been emailed to them, so then they'll be able to run the program. I hope that helps out everybody. Sorry it's kind of taken a while. Have a good day.